been reflecting on Sunday being Father's Day and the importance of things that I've learned from him, the importance of teaching my own kids in the Lord. And my dad's taught me a lot, not just about being a man, but about being a man of God. Big crowd, it's just not his style. But when it comes to one-on-one conversations, I mean, he can sit and he can talk vacation, and they got back on Sunday, I think it was, and I hadn't really talked to him about it. So I texted him last night, and he ends up just the responsibility of a father, responsibility of being a mentor to young people. First Proverbs 22:6, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he was old, he will not depart from it. And that speaks to the value of trains. So whenever I think of that verse, I think of things my dad taught me whenever I was young. I remember being probably 8 years old to explain to me the value of tithe and what that meant. And as an 8-year-old, you're just like, but that's my money. I understood the importance and the value of tithe. And even when I've been reluctant at times, I think back to that conversation, the value of that lesson. He showed me them, and he walked them out, and he led by example. And I found this quote yesterday by Charles Spurgeon for them, but that hit me so hard, and it was very convicting. I just started doing some self-reflecting on the lessons that I think it's important that we realize. I mean, I look at this group right here, and this is a group of fathers and mothers of the faith. The generation, the youth generation of today, they have a reputation to people to lead the way. And if we in the church, if we're not leading the way for them, they're going to go find a way somewhere else. And I think of that with my own kids. I think of Pastor Lawrence, when kids' generosity is extremely challenging. I can say that from firsthand experience over the last couple of years. I don't want to spend a lot of time talking. I feel like I've already said enough. I appreciate so much the focus that pastors bring right now. It can be awkward if we allow it to be, but he allows God to work, and he can just sit and listen and then move from there. So praying for opportunities to walk situations out, and I know that comes with a have, but so I'm just going to pray, and then we'll break into our personal places here. God, that we seek you this morning. We seek you in every area of life. We seek you in the opportunities that you give us, that we listen to what it is that you have to say about whatever the situation is, no matter how big or small it may seem. We just pause and consider what model, what a godly example really is, what it means to walk with you, what it means to spend time with you in prayer. And so many situations where our world is so broken. We just pray in your name. Amen.
Pastor Lawrence just invited me to share a little bit about this weekend. It's really impossible to know yourself if you don't know God. And we're going to be diving into what it means to be a son and daughter of God. Reality that I was created in the image and likeness of God with His specific intent to put Him and to put Him on display. So when people ask what God looks like, there would be an image bearer in the earth to say something like this. It's a passage that's been dear to my heart. We quote it every year at Christmas time, but I don't think we think through the words of it. But Isaiah 9:6, for unto us a child is born and a son is given. God's intention was that His sons and daughters would carry His government, His order. Class the following week for the next 6 weeks on Wednesday nights to go deeper. But also asked that God would just grab problems to completely adjusting it to one of representing Him, being sent by Him into all of the areas and relationships of our life. Would you pray for this weekend that God would do something unique and just recalibrating our hearts and our minds? Besides bringing us into your family. But we just acknowledge your heart. This is what you wanted towards you and say that we love you. That you are the third person of the Trinity, that you are God. Recalibrate our hearts. Change our perspective. Take us deeper. Give us eyes to see and ears to hear with you as your sons and daughters. It is no longer an option for us not to live as if you sent us into the world. Kingdom would come and your will would be done in every area of our lives as it is in heaven. We just acknowledge your kingdom. And Father, where there's places in our hearts or in people's hearts where they're not convinced that your kingdom coming would be a good thing, we ask you to convince us. So Lord, we just pray for fresh awakening that results in unity of your church. There'd be discernment. That you give us eyes to see and ears to hear and hearts quick to obey. And we'd be found faithful and for this weekend. Thank you.
you.